Pay Yen.
What did Yan do?
Pay Yen. He needs to pay Yen.
Airbnb?
Yeah.
I'll die before I do that, and you know that.
That's not bad for me. It's bad for Yen.
We had a ridiculous saga of an evening. Me, Nick Yingling, Josh, and a bunch of other people on the last night. And I carved out some space to fucking talk about that.
Dude, will we ever see Ludwig, actually?
I will.
Dude, yes.
No,
Yes.
when he's a kid, no. Never see him.
Unless he's just like...
Ludwig will only hang out with people who play fantasy football once he's a kid.
he'll be so normie. He won't even hit the guns.
He's about to get kicked out of his current fantasy football. One of his...
Nick Yingling is... Let me start by saying Nick Yingling is insane. An insane person to just go out with in general.
I was this close to telling him fucking shut up during this trip. Nick Yingling, if you're listening... He just has to comment on everything sometimes, and I want to tell him, hey,
Oh, yeah, you're getting Yinglinged.
leave a gap. Leave a gap in the conversation, Nick Yingling.
Leave a gap for who, Joe?
No, Candace.
You're just drinking like a beer. He's like, you like beer, huh?
And it's like, I'm going to fucking kill you. I swear to God.
That's how I felt. That's how I felt on Monday morning. I was
love
like,
Nick Yingling.
Nick, I'm gonna fucking strangle you. I was so ready to do it. The menu has this one thing on it called the Inception bomb. And it just sounds like it's like a mixed drink with 3 different types of liquor. So we all decide to order one. But the bartender starts making this, and it's not a normal mixed drink. It is a pitcher with tiers of drinks, like it's fucking Super Mario 64 clockwork, that clockwork level.
There's a picture on, I think, Nick Yingling's Twitter.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that you can see this. It's really
Nick Yingling's
wild.
Twitter's the most annoying thing, by the
Zipper,
way,
if
to
you can
read
find
during
it.
this, because it's like, damn, my life in movie straight up, fucking
Cuddy's.
5 a.m., sunglasses and Advil. Last night was mad real. And I'm like, what the fuck happened?
Get to the end of this, dude. Get to the end of this night, and you will agree.
When Hitch said, I thought Yingling was a suit, or whatever, I was like, you want to know what I really do in the work group chat? And then I told him about the Mario Goatsy incident and how everybody roasted.
And when you lift that shot out, the Jaeger falls into the other cup, and then you lift the other cup, and the last shot falls into the pitcher, and you drink it all in order in one go.
And then the guy you're with becomes a giant suit of armor.
Bold 3.
It's just, you can't set
can't do
the
it.
precedent.
The only woman in our company said it was chill.
You can't set the precedent of Mario Goatsy being okay in a chat. It comes back to get you. Don't you get it?
I'm chill.
But you don't think about the future, Nick Yingling. You only think
Our
about
head
the
of finance is
slack.
also our HR, so it's chill.
no, it's not chill. It's not chill. I had to step in and delete it.
You deleted it?
Yes, dude. Fucking sinks this, and everybody is immediately drunk. Because a bunch of people were already drunk from the previous restaurant we were at. And this sends everybody into a different dimension. And everybody starts describing how drunk they are by describing which scene in Inception they are.
That's a good
And
bit.
It's definitely the snow level.
And
Definitely the snow level.
Zen is like, yeah, I think I'm in the hotel because I'm not quite snow level yet. and everybody's just fucking plastered. But we have to get out of this place, and we want to roam to wherever the next bar is that we can find. And we leave, and as we leave, the Zane and Leffen get stopped. They get recognized by somebody. And in the process of them being recognized by people who weren't even at the event that weekend, they didn't even know it was happening. They just knew who Zane and Leffen were. This random dude who was not with us at the beginning of the night in a North Face jacket and a backpack just joins our group. No context.
Yeah, you got a collectible item.
Nobody knows who this guy is, but we all think somebody else knows who this is. And they tag along.
Yeah.
Which is really funny because this third party, the mystery man, remains with us for the remainder of this night.
Handsome, charming.
Can I tell you something? Can I tell you a secret you might not know?
What?
Ludwig didn't want to hire you.
Yeah, but you did.
That's right.
Wow, he's unfazed.
I fought.
All I needed was you, and then I could convince Lud.
I fought for Nick Yingling.
That's probably one of the GOAT hires. If you think about
I
it.
know.
I'm the most reliable person in the company.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Behind who? Who's? I am always up.
Anyway,
Random guy, Vancouver,
Random guy.
3 a.m.
Yeah, and we
Big
have
Apple,
we have
damn.
a big group, right? It's 14 people walking, and the first kind of stop we make along the way to this second bar is by this van, and it's for raw rolling papers. and this dude is in the van selling weed out of the minivan in the middle of downtown Vancouver.
That's chill.
That's lit.
That's my buddy Kyle. So there's also, I made Nick Yingling when he started. He swallowed, he covered a cassette tape in wax and swallowed it.
Only intended for a plane capsule.
You don't want to die of...
We now continue with Smurf.
And these three guys are standing outside of the van. These like three kind of bro-y guys. One of them has a cowboy hat on. And Nick Yingling was way in front of us. He's already talking to these guys. He started up some sort of conversation. The dude in the cowboy hat comes across as the leader, if you will.
Yeah.
And he is so psyched to talk to Nick, and he's so psyched to learn. Like, he's like the typical Canadian bro. He's like, "Oh, you guys are from the States. How is it down there? You guys are crazy. You got some guns down there." Like,
Yeah, the one too.
Bet.
and talking about how like, yeah, we're just fucking, yeah, we live in Vancouver, man. I go to these clubs all the time. We get fucking drunk every weekend. Like, it's
Dude, he's the
Outrageous fun.
Outrageous fun.
Yeah. Boobies flying around.
Deeks in box. And we found out this guy's name is Callan, and he's talking about like, yo, it's country night at the Roxy. We're headed over there. Well, maybe we'll see you there later. And we like leave this interaction, but not before they get Nick Yingling's Instagram.
That's a clue in
And they
Hitman. That's a clue in Hitman. You have to go to the Roxy.
Yeah.
Look for the guy in the toupee.
You press F3 and you have a new way into the Roxy.
Yeah.
And then they exchange info, and we go to this bar called like Dimes across the street. Not a lot happens at Dimes, except people proceed to get significantly more fucked up.
Call toll free.
Game of level 15 and it is virtually.
So and you have to play that cassette tape. So you have to cut open Nick Yingling, and then play this tape.
And then you have to do the dance from the pacifier, but backwards.
This is a direct quote from Ludwig. He said, "Do you think he'd want to do that?" I was like, "What do you mean that?" He's like, and then he kind of got quiet. He's like, "Bitch work." And I was like, "Yeah, I don't think he cares. I think he just cares about you, and you're his friend, and he wants a job, and I think it'll be good."
And you change. I don't actually care.
So we have to leave this place now, and we start slowly like spreading out to leave. I want to, at this point, I'm not drunk. I want to go home because our flight is super early, but Leffen will not shut the fuck up about going to a club. He's like, "Don't leave. We have to go to a club together. We have to go to a club together." He's like, "Look what I found." And he's like, "This place Roxy's is right down the street." In my head, I know that it's country night at Roxy's. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to say anything. Let's go to country night. And
you put on a fake mustache, you're like, "Let's go,
God,
Leffen."
for once in your goddamn life, Aiden, you don't explain something and you see the beauty in not doing it.
yeah, I'm like, let's see how our group of 15 smashers fare at the country night.
Oh, this is Prairie
Do you know what a vestigial organ is? So it just hangs out there.
Like next
We
to
haven't
Florida.
had Nick Yingling on board for very long, so I didn't want to. I don't want to cut him open yet. You know, I
Right.
figured
I'll
I
cut
could
him- I'll
wait
cut him
a
open
couple
right now.
days.
That's respectful.
I will say the moment I realized what I was actually doing was Ludwig told me, "I need you to take my Vespa out." And I was like, and I was talking to Aiden, and I was like, I forget how I worded it, but Aiden was just basically, "This is kind of what you're going to," he was like, basically like, Ludwig's personal stuff is probably what you're going to end up doing.
Our whole group, guy who's just joined us, still like going to this new place, and we go into the fucking country bar. This place is fun. Like, a lot of people are there. It's packed, even though it's Sunday. It's pretty crazy. Music fucking blows, dude. It's a bunch of old country like bangers, but I know like one in every 3 songs.
Oh,
like,
honky tonk, badonka donk.
It's actually like slice of Nashville in Vancouver. It's so weird to experience.
It's more like his personal life and less company stuff, but it's like a mixture of both.
The country music's still going. It's gotten slightly
It's
better.
country night.
It's
a night. It's not a country hour.
I don't know why. I think I come back to the dance floor. It's like, maybe it'll be country music that I like, and it's just not.
You slip the guy 100 to play 169 song.
I'm getting bored again. And I see that Yingling is on the other side of the bar, as well as Josh again, talking to this guy. And I meet this man named Randy. And Randy is, you know how there's those guys who clearly clearly were nerds in high school, but have developed some sort of like sense of what could be cool and like style. And they'll go to like clubs or functions and be like, they'll talk about girls a lot, and they'll talk about like fucking girls. Do you know
you
what
guys
the type of
described
guy I'm
someone like this
describing?
before.
Yes. I met one of these guys in Vegas,
Yeah.
and he was like,
yeah,
he was telling me
I know.
this is how you make moves on women
I know
and
this
shit like
exact.
that.
They're trying to like prove that they've been doing this a long time.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
But they haven't.
But they haven't.
Because anybody who has doesn't talk like that.
Yeah,
And-
it's embarrassing.
And he's that guy, but he's Canadian, so he's still really like nice, infused with it.
Oh fuck yeah, bro! Yeah, I can't. I fucked it up.
That's
You two take care of labor.
Game of level bing
And it is virtually
Meanwhile, Nick Yingling is telling me about how his man Callan with the hat that he met in the streets smoking weed is here, and they've been hanging out all night. They've been like chumming it up. That's where Nick Yingling has been because he wasn't dancing with us. And after all of this, it's like it's almost 4. We have to wake up at like 6:30. I want to fucking leave. I want to go home. And I'm like, Josh, can we leave in a bit, please? Like, no more birthday songs, please.
Wait, when's closing time in these places?
I think this place closes at like 5.
That's insane.
That's
which is
crazy.
It was a pretty like wild
On
like,
God's
it
night,
still had a
too.
shit ton of people.
It's
too,
2 a.m. like
on Sunday.
everywhere in America except Vegas, New York.
yeah, it's pretty. 2 a.m. is like, all right, time to go home.
Yeah, come on, kiddos, we got work in the morning.
Like everyone, it's crazy.
And Josh is like, just give me a minute, let me say bye. And I'm like, I'll do the same thing. But Yingling, I'm talking to Yingling, I'm looking at him, and he's like, please come home, Yingling. Your phone is dead. You're not going to be able to get home by yourself. And he's like, no, I won't come.
He's like, you fucking cocksucker.
That's what he said.
yes.
I said you're
You're the same.
I said you're me right now.
And I'm like, please, dude, you don't have a phone. We live far away here. Like, you can't walk back. Like, please come with me.
He probably doesn't know the way back.
He doesn't know I know he doesn't know the way back. He's also wasted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he insists on not leaving. And
He
I'm like,
clutches
what
it.
can I do? What can I do? I'm like, okay. Nick, please just write the Airbnb address down on a piece of paper and put it in your pocket so someone will call you an Uber home when you
Staple
want
it to your
leave.
shirt.
And he goes over to the bartender, gets this. I see him write it down. I know he has this piece of paper. He puts it in his pocket. And me and Josh go out of the place, and we're waiting outside, and Josh is like, we can't leave him here, man. Like, I'll do the convincing. I'll get him to... And he walks back in.
It's his birthday.
Josh, I see like through the door from outside, Josh talking to Nick like this, like leaning over him because he's so much taller, and Nick
putting his
just
arms
shaking his head.
You're trying to lip read it.
And Josh comes out. He's like, "There's no convincing that man," and he's like, "Let's go."
No, I'm not going. No.
And
Candace will take care of me.
we Uber back, and we wake up the next morning in just like a couple hours. Yingling, thankfully, is the person who wakes me up. And I'm like, oh, good. Nick made it back somehow. And I come out into the living room, and he explains that he has just recently arrived back at the Airbnb and had been wandering the streets of Vancouver most of the evening. And he didn't have a charge on his phone, right? So he couldn't find the paper that I saw him put in his pocket.
Dude.
So he doesn't have the address. He, after wandering around for like an hour in just downtown Vancouver, finds Callan again at a bus stop. And he is like, oh, Callan. Like, and he walks over to him all excited. And he's like, give me your phone. Give me your phone. He pulls up in his phone. He has remembered that when they were talking the first time, he typed in the Airbnb address into Google Maps to show Callan where we were. And it is in recent search history on
Wow.
Google Maps. So he pulls up the address and Callan calls him an Uber back. After wandering around.
That is so resourceful of Nick Yingling.
Nick Yingling's a hero.
Nick Yingling, no.
Dude,
No.
that's
Nick
tight as
Yingling
fuck.
is
And
standing
then
in
he
the
woke
living
you up.
room, and I'm like, holy shit. Well, I'm glad you're okay. I'm glad you made it back. And Nick, I turn around, I go into the kitchen, and Nick's like, oh, it's right here. And he pulls out the piece of paper with the address written down. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me, Nick?
Yeah.
And the only thing that stops me from getting fucking so angry at him is that he's like, wait, look. And I turn around in the kitchen, and we look on the wall, and it is this massive painted canvas of the club that we were at all evening on the wall of our Airbnb.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
You didn't steal that?
Dude.
How do you not steal that?
Because the
should take
guy
a
had
picture
two
of it.
cats and he made me feed them. He literally, the Airbnb guy literally made me feed his two cats, and I was like,
Well,
well,
now you have a good birthday present for Yingling. Just go
Did you
find it
go to the
online.
club?
no. The funny thing, two things. Have you ever seen The Shining? Anybody?
Yeah.
It's literally Shining. Like that is fucking crazy that you guys had that night, and then this whole time there was a painting probably materialized overnight. And no, so what I did, I had a stomach ache because I ate a smoothie in the morning.
Oh, tummy hurt?
And my tummy bears hurt, and also I'm antisocial, so I was like. Right at the finish line when we go home, I'm like, you know what? I'm bailing. I don't want to go to dinner. Plus, there's like 8 people now. It's like a huge thing, and it did turn into a huge thing. So I instead go back to the Airbnb, watch videos on my phone. I watched Wendover. I watched the cybersecurity one. That was a good one.
It's a great one.
And then I ordered a whole pizza and I housed it by myself.
Holy shit.
Put her there.
I met some random guy. I'm just talking to him, and he's like, "Yeah, come to the Roxy for country night." And I was like, "Aiden, we got to go to country night. We got to go country night." And I remember sitting on the bench at like 3:30 a.m. and the guy shows up like a fucking movie, and he sits on the bench with me, talk, and we're just hashing it about what's wrong about Canada and America. And I'm like, "Yo, my phone's dead, but I have no idea how to get home." And then I pull out my fucking paper. I'm like, "Oh, actually, I have my address." He's like, "Let me get you a taxi, bud." And so he like fucking finds me a taxi, and he's like, "Make sure this guy gets right here and don't fuck with him." And I'm like, "Okay."
これになったわけなんですね。ビラジと。ええ。
Well, that's a hype story. Good
Him and-
tournament.
Him and Noel stayed
Yeah, it
with
was a
us.
great night out. I hate Nick. After all this.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the thesis of all of this is that Nick Yingling makes things worse a lot.
My takeaway is that Nick Yingling is the life of the party and a hero.
He is.
You know what drastically changes the story for me? That he woke you up instead of you having to wake him up.
Yeah.
That changes everything.
That
for
is
me.
huge. Also, you guys had to get up early.
He
Which
didn't
was
go to bed. He
difficult.
never slept. That was the thing.
That's
He
the thing
stayed up
about him.
all
He's always
night.
grinding.
朝の霧の中美しい車に出会ったトヨタの最高級 FF サルーンビスタ
So do you think it's good?